Okay, today we're going to use the brushes which we spoke about last time for oil and acrylic painting. So I've got a flat brush, a filbert, and a round brush, and soft hair detailing brushes. So we'll use all of them with a bit of acrylic and oil and just show the different marks that we can get on canvas. Okay, this is a Micador disposable palette which has got 40 sheets of paper that's lined with a waxy substance upon which you can use oils or acrylics. And the beauty of it is that you don't have to clean it afterwards. You just tear the sheets off and throw it in the bin. And as I said, there's 40 sheets, which makes it a very economical way of purchasing a palette. So we're going to mix some paint, some oil paints, so that we'll be able to do some brush strokes on the canvas. This is just a bit of titanium white that I've squeezed out. A bit of blue. A bit of yellow ochre. I like blue and yellow ochre because it gives you a nice tint of or tone of green that you can use a lot in, especially in Australian landscape. And a tiny bit of orange. Okay, and this is our Micador for Artist palette knife. So I'll just pick up a bit of white because I just want to tone down the blue and the yellow ochre. I just want it a little bit warmer. Warmer being more yellow than blue. And that gives me a nice pale greenish tint that I want to use. Okay, so I've picked up a bright or a flat brush. I'm just going to do a little bit of background where I want. This is going to be like the beginning of a landscape, let's say. So I'm just going to pick up a bit of that blue that I mixed up earlier. And by using the flat brush, it gives me a good blocking in. And it spreads the paint quite quickly for me, as you can see. I've got quite a bit of painting medium through that, so it looks a little bit glossy, but that will all settle later. Okay. Now the brown that you can see underneath here, that's a light wash that I did earlier, just to give the painting, when we do finish it, a bit of warmth, because it'll help the colour. You can see there it's coming through, whereas here the blue blocks it out a bit more. And then I will dictate how much of that we want to leave on. Another example is just by putting that there. You can see the difference in colour. So the flat brush will do all of that for me. And now I will use a filbert brush just to do a bit of sketching or planning of my painting. So this is the filbert brush. You can see that it's flat and it comes to a dome, as we've explained earlier. Now we'll just pick up a little bit of painting medium. I might use a bit of that blue and a little bit of orange, because that'll give me a nice, almost charcoal type colour. Or at least a dark brown colour, I should say. You know, with the filberts are good for sketching in. So we'll just sketch in a bit of a cliff here, and then we'll fill that in later. As you can see, it works pretty much as does the flat brush, except that I can use it to go from fine to broad just by twisting the brush. If you can see that there. Make that some cliffs in the background. Now we'll just do a little bit in the foreground here, and I will go back to the flat brush. As you've noticed, I've not even cleaned the brush out of the blue that was on it, I should say, because I'm just going to blend the whole thing in to give me a... So this here is going to be the foreground of the painting. So just for the sake of the exercise today, this actual painting, for if that's how we want to describe it, that will only be about this big. It's just a little one, so that will take the shape of a whole painting. A little bit more of that lighter colour in here. Just pick up a little bit of white. Still working with our flat or bright brush. That will become our foreground as we go. We'll just go around the cliff here, again using the filbert, because that gives me the added advantage, if you like, of getting that pointed bit in where I want it to go. Right, so now we're at the stage where we've put a lot more colour on, as you can see, and we've blocked in most of the sky, and I've done that with a filbert brush and with a flat brush, and we put just a little bit of detail work on that cliff there, but all of that we can fix later on, but just to block colour in so that we can start doing a little bit of stuff in the foreground. I'm going to use a round bristle brush, which comes to a bit of a point, but not that much of a point. What we'll do with that, we'll just spread it as we use it, and we'll put some bushes in sort of this area here, just to give it a bit of depth. So we're just going to put some bushes, again by pushing the brush down and twisting it, just to get colour down. As you can see, pick up a bit more of a dark colour. Now we're going to use two small brushes, detailing brushes. One is a round brush, that's about a size 4. And then we're going to use a rigger brush. The rigger brush will let us do a lot of very fine detail work like twigs and that sort of thing. Okay, so we'll just put just a bit of detail through here. It could be rocks, or could be some depression in the ground. Just put a little bit of a lighter highlight there. As you can see, that sort of put in a whole different plane by making this part of it much closer than the background. Okay, now I will use the rigger brush, which is the one with a very long hair on it. I just thought I might just put like a post, an old post or such here, just by painting it in. So now we've got something like, looks like a bit of an old post. I might even put a little bit of, it's not working out too well, just a tiny bit of like a barrier. Just in here, I just pick up a little bit of white. Let's just see how we're going to go here. Now I'm just going to put a little bit of orange on that tree, just using the tip, the very tip of the brush. I'm just going to lay a little bit of orange here and here, and a little bit of orange up here, just to give it the idea of being sort of dried up and ready to fall off almost. So what we've done in the last half hour or so is we've just shown how we can use the different brushes that we had here, each one at its own function. If you really wanted to, you could probably get away without using the flat brush or the bright brush, but I like it because it makes the colour, when you apply it, it makes it smoother and more uniform than does the filbert.